today I found out that my company is having layoffs.
There are more layoffs announced in October than in any October since 2003.
We just learned that the U.S. erased nearly 1 million jobs from its books in the biggest negative revision ever.
So today we're going to be going over more layoffs and the job market as a whole because honestly, it's not looking too good right now. The sheer volume of videos that get uploaded onto social media every single day of people sharing their experiences getting laid off is unbelievable. All the stats that come out only seem to be getting worse, whether it's increasing layoff numbers or more downward revisions of jobs created, and I don't know when this is going to stop. We have a ton of stuff to go over today along with comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with some of the recent news in the market.
To the CEO of Amazon, telling the company's employees that some of their jobs will be replaced by AI and that Amazon's workforce is expected to shrink in the coming years as AI's role expands.
General Motors is slashing more than 200 jobs, mostly engineers in Detroit, as part of its ongoing effort to streamline operations and increase profits.
Now for your morning money report, AI has reportedly cut 4,000 jobs at one of San Francisco's largest private employers. On a recent podcast, Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff spoke about the shift. He says Salesforce has halved its customer support roles from 9,000 to 4,000.
Well, the Verizon news is a good reminder to folks that once again, it is easier to find your first customer than it is your next job. Verizon just announced they're laying off 15,000. Again, I'm guessing this is just a start as they look to restructure or whatever they're trying to do, but that's on top of the 1 million folks that have already been laid off this year.
And that's just a few examples. We have more on screen. UPS 48,000, Amazon up to 30, Intel, Nestle, Accenture, Ford, Novo Nordisk, Microsoft, PwC, there's the Salesforce, Paramount, Target, Kroger, Applied Materials, Meta, and there's much more. And we have even more figures to go over, but we have a comment from one of you guys. My father got a layoff notice after working 19 years at a company in the 80s, after the company had cashed out the company pensions to enrich themselves. It was around this time that being loyal to a company was dead, and more people are realizing that every day.
232,000 unemployment claims, new unemployment claims in October 2025. Over 153,000 jobs were cut in October, the highest in over 20 years. Over 100 companies are expecting to lay off in November 2025, according to warnnotice.com. If you did not know, the federal government, which is the largest employer in the United States, has laid off over 300,000 people.
And that's one of the comments that I saw pretty regularly when I first started making videos on this channel. Go get a government job. It's much more stable than anything that we've seen in the tech sector or something similar, but that doesn't really seem to be the case anymore either. But let's expand on those numbers, not just October, the entire year so far.
There are more layoffs announced in October than in any October since 2003. And we've also hit 1 million layoffs all year. Do you know the last time we had more than 1 million layoffs in a year? 2020. How about before that, Nick? 2008 and 2009. How about before that? 2001. What do all of these things have in common? We are in a deep recession. And the only thing holding any water right now is a bunch of tech companies swapping money repeatedly. Well, most of it's debt, but if you're like me and you're an accountant and you like to look at balance sheets sometimes, you will regret it immediately, because a monkey could look at these balance sheets and see that these companies are full of. Sam Altman was asked how a company with only a couple $1 billion in revenue can live up to over $1 trillion in commitments, and he had literally no answer. He was like, okay, sell your share. Most insane shit I've ever heard.
So this is another one of the arguments that I've seen, that the economy is doing fine right now. The stock market is near all-time highs. Just keeps going up and up every few months. But if you've seen any of the news with the AI bubble and all of these companies basically buying and selling from each other, inflating their numbers, it really does not look good, and eventually the bubble is going to burst. And because so much of the stock market gains rely on these tech companies, everything will come crashing down, which turns into even more layoffs for these companies. They want to tighten their budget even more. They start using AI instead of people, and the entirety of the job market gets even worse, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Another comment from you guys here. I swear, since I've been working on my emergency fund, it's really my get laid off fund. Get a job, build fund, get canned, fund is gone. I've done this like 5 or 6 times since 2009, and I hate it. I mean, I'm trying to find the silver lining. At least you have something to fall back on. Many people are living paycheck to paycheck, so no emergency fund or savings whatsoever. So if they do get laid off, all of their expenses get put on a credit card, and that starts the cycle and snowballs into a way worse situation.
We just learned that the US erased nearly 1 million jobs from its books in the biggest negative revision ever. The Bureau of Labor Statistics said it overstated 911,000 jobs from April 24 to March 25. That is the biggest preliminary downgrade in history and worse than what happened after the 2008 financial crisis. But this is not just some one-off mistake. It's the third year in a row of an unusually large downward revision. Over 2 million jobs have now been wiped out after the fact. This means the labor market, which we already knew was slowing down, is even weaker than anyone thought.
So I know a lot of people want the most recent jobs report to be shown to the public because the government shutdown happened for so long, stopping all of that. I don't really know what people expect. They're going to come out with numbers that probably don't look too great, and then magically months down the road they eventually get heavily revised down like they almost always do.
Today I found out that my company is having layoffs. And luckily I didn't get laid off, but a lot of the people that I really cared about did. And the person I work under did. It also just makes me concerned for my own position because they're laying off people because of the economy and everything going on.
It's definitely not a good sign when you see your boss get fired, so I understand her being worried about her own job, but we have a comment that goes well with this. The other side of this going unnoticed is the people who still have their jobs being relentlessly squeezed for everything they have to make up for the lack of staff. Anyone who's currently left, like that woman in the last clip, is now going to have to be doing the job of 2 or 3 employees, until yet again there's another round of layoffs for restructuring or whatever excuse they come up with, and then you have to deal with this absolutely terrible job market.
That was the hardest thing about getting laid off. It wasn't just the loss of salary. It just destroys your self-worth, your self-esteem, your confidence. And you think there's something wrong with you or you're broken, but there's nothing wrong with you, right? It's like it took 3 weeks for it to sink in that I was laid off because I'd never been laid off before. It was surreal. It's like if you ever witness a bad car crash, you're like, holy shit, did that just happen? It's like that. I took a week and did all, and if I could share some advice I learned with you, just if you're going through something like that, take a week, a few days, whatever you can, and just do whatever you want to do, right? Sometimes we need that. And then get back into your routine. And the other thing I did that really helped is physical fitness, being physically active, because the better your physical health, the stronger your mental health. And that'll help you weather some of the shit life throws at us.
And I agree, there is a mental toll if you've been laid off, especially if you've been working most of your life. So many people have the same lifestyle etched into their minds. They do well in school, they go off to college, get a degree, work for some sort of corporation 30, 40 years. You have some sort of pension, 401k, your own investments, something like that. And then you'd be able to retire and live the rest of your life. But out of nowhere, you get cut from the company when this has been your routine for so long. Many people have difficulty coping with that, and I understand. Especially if in your downtime you go on social media and see articles like this.
Breaking hiring in the U.S. is the worst that it's been since the financial crisis in 2008 and 2009. That time period was also known as the Great R Word with 9 letters. You know what the word is: recession. So if you or someone you know has been struggling to find a job, it's not you. It is the economy. We are dealing with some hiring that is historically slow. It's taking millions of people more than a year just to find a job, and a lot of people have given up on looking for a job entirely. But that's because there are more people looking for a job than there are job openings.
I want to quit my job so bad, but I know if I leave, I'll spend years clawing for a minimum wage cashier position. I've made dedicated videos talking about that. Many people regretting quitting their previous job because their new job wasn't what they thought it would be, or maybe the entire company collapsed. Others saying their previous job was mentally draining, so they ended up getting another one with less pay. However, with today's cost of living, that brings a ton of stress onto your life as well. Another comment here: as a 17-year-old, I'm glad that I found your channel and have the knowledge about debt and investing before I'm $80,000 in credit card debt and car loans, which I am very glad to hear. I think having this type of financial and economic knowledge as young as possible could put you way farther ahead in life, but to be honest, that does not mean that the job market is going to look too good when you get out of college.
If you're in the class of 2026, companies have a warning for you. This spring is expected to be the worst job market for college grads in 5 years. More than half of the 183 employers surveyed by the National Association of Colleges and Employers rate the job market for the class of 2026 as poor or fair. That's the most pessimistic outlook since the first year of the pandemic. There are a couple reasons for this. First, there's a cooling job market. In recent months, employers have revealed plans to cut thousands of jobs. Second, companies say that the uncertain economic outlook has pushed them to be more careful with hiring, and many are prioritizing recruits with some experience over new college grads. So if you're a college senior, this means that you're also competing with junior workers who have recently been laid off.
You guys have been saying this every year, but it kind of seems like it's been getting worse every year. So if I'm graduating by 2027, does that mean there will be no job market? The job market is terrible for May 25 graduates. My daughter still hasn't landed a position. Entry-level jobs want 5 to 10 years of experience. As ridiculous as that sounds, we have seen so many different examples of exactly that. But I do want to transition into a type of video that I've been seeing more often, especially because of the layoffs and the poor job market. It's kind of relatable, I guess, guerrilla marketing, where many of these clips make it seem like they're just a normal everyday person having a tough time in the economy like you, but magically they found this app or program that helps them and saves them so much time, just giving me yet another reason to say that people are trying to sell you something 24/7.
1.2 million? 1.2 million. Job market is so cooked, bro. I just read that there's 1.2 million candidates applying to 17,000 available entry-level jobs. I don't even know what to say because I'm so flabbergasted. How is anyone supposed to find a job, especially if they're new grads straight out of college? And not to mention, half of those job postings are probably just ghost jobs designed to just steal your data from you whenever you fill out the application. Like, bro, can someone do something about this? Yeah, I don't know, bro. I think at this point, the best way to get a job is just to apply to every single job that you see. And that's literally what I've been doing on this app. All I had to do was just upload my resume, and whenever I get matched with jobs, I just swipe and it'll auto-apply for me on the company website.
So that's the kind of formula I've been seeing pretty often. It just looks like a plain TikTok. Even the stat he talked about was accurate. It was, however, a UK figure. The 1.2 million jobs for new grads for only 17,000 entry-level positions looks very bad. So yeah, the job market is cooked. Just apply for everything you possibly can. And look, I have this app that's basically like Tinder. You could swipe back and forth, and it'll just send the resumes instantly. A couple things about this, I could almost guarantee that this is not a free service, probably subscription-based, so you're gonna have to pay for this as well. And it adds into the problem that one job will be posted on Indeed, and out of nowhere, there'll be hundreds or thousands of applications, basically meaning you have such a small chance of your resume even being looked at. I mean, we have a perfect example of that right here.
Over the last year, I have applied to 1,769,347 jobs. So let's see how it went. So out of all of these jobs I applied to, I got ghosted from 1.6 million of them and rejected from 92,000 of them. So that's what that looks like. Looks pretty crazy from a visual standpoint, but as you can see right here, I got replies from 3,400 of them, so that's great, right? Out of all those replies, I replied to a couple of them too late. They already hired people, and I ended up only getting 9 interviews from 3,000, so that's kind of crazy. From there, I rejected 2 of them because the pay wasn't what I was looking for. I got rejected by 2 companies. For one of these companies, I didn't have to do any tasks, and then for 4 of the other ones, I had to do some work and then hear back from them. I ended up with 5 final interviews, and I got 2 offers. And as you can see, I accepted one and rejected the other. So that is what my graph looks like from 2025, trying to find a job.
That would be 4,800 and almost 48 applications per day. Assuming it takes about 5 minutes per application, that's 404 hours per day. So I'm either calling total BS on this or saying you've automated it through AI or something like the previous clip with the sales pitch, in which case the rejections make sense. If this one guy sent out almost 1.8 million applications, what if you have hundreds or thousands of people using this same software? I think overall that this contributes to making the job market even worse. But we have another clip here of somebody being relatable in a different tactic to funnel you into courses you have to buy.
25 years. I worked for the company for 25 years and they let me go at the age of 60. 60, nobody wants to hire anybody when they're 60, even if they have experience, and especially if they're making some money, some decent money. They're not going to pay you what you're worth. So I got laid off at 60. We don't quite have enough to retire. My partner and I want to retire. We want to move down to South Carolina to a 55 and over community, and we want to travel. And we don't have enough saved. I got caught in between that pension period and the 401k period. So my pension's very little because they stopped it. And then the 401k is not as much as it should be because it started a little later. So we didn't have enough time to save for it. So I'm a little short money. So I needed to find a way to make money. And right now, guys, my partner's going through cancer. So he is actually in treatment right now while I'm making this video. But so I decided to look for something online, something that can help me make some money in the interim and also to help pay for the doctor's bills.
And if you're a regular watcher of my channel, you know exactly what this turns into. I help people make money to live their dream retirement with 2 different programs. This is just another version of the digital marketing gurus, the AI drop shipping. Make a whole ton of money online just working an hour a day. Affiliate links here, course selling there. But now they kind of changed their strategy to be more relatable to a lot of the issues people are facing right now, because I've also made videos solely talking about this. Older workers having a very difficult time in the market because not many companies want to hire somebody who's 50 and 60 with all of the experience behind them, because that also comes with a higher salary. They want to hire a 21-year-old who just needs a job right now because they're 5 or 6 figures in debt with student loans. But let me show you how I started making money online, and there's the sales pitch. Adding on top of it the sympathy with the cancer treatment. I don't even know if it's true or not. I think these types of videos are more malicious than somebody just straight up trying to sell you their dropshipping course. But we're done with that tangent. We could go right back to the primary focus of this video.
One thing I wish I'd known is that apparently over the age of 50 you become unemployable. I've been looking for over a year on Indeed and LinkedIn, and I have 30 years experience in corporate and sales and marketing, and nothing. It's just crickets.
Remove the dates from your resume, downplay your experience. Instead of 30 years, say 20. Make sure your resume looks like you're 10 to 15 years younger. They'll never know, and they're not allowed to ask. Indeed and LinkedIn did not help me at all. Doesn't help many people, to be honest. Stop using Indeed and LinkedIn. Those are garbage listings. If anything, apply directly to the company. Maybe that works sometimes, but I feel like they would get inundated by those software apps like we saw earlier in the video, so it does make it harder. Overqualified, too many earned skills, recruiters are choosing cheaper applicants. That's what I was talking about before. So with all of these types of videos, it's not surprising that there is no loyalty at all anymore.
Hey, I think corporate America is breaking just because I think so many people, we have so much information at our fingertips, where these corporate companies, we know all kind of their back alley tricks with like silent firings and all these quiet layoffs and things like that. These corporations literally do not give a damn about you. You might tell them about your family and your friends and all the things that you do. They don't give a damn, y'all. This is about you getting your bread, getting your paycheck. And that's the unfortunate reality that a lot of people in corporate America are living in, is I'm just here for a paycheck, which doesn't help the company. But that's the essence of the culture. When you try to suck the life out of people and you don't give anything back, they truly do not give a shit about you. And it creates that mutual society where, no, we don't care. Yeah, we don't care either. And everybody's just playing house with a bunch of money.
But to be honest, I kind of understand that people wouldn't really care about the work that they do for some of these giant corporations. I don't think too many people have a passion for working in a cubicle for 30 or 40 years. They're just showing up there doing their job to get a paycheck that hopefully they'd be able to use for their passions, something that they genuinely like. But when you see people getting cut left and right, no matter how long they've been there, the morale of the workers hit an all-time low. Another comment right here, 2015, learn to code, 2025, you're fired. I don't think I really have to explain how much of a mess the tech sector is. Tons of people were told to go get a CS degree. Computers are the future, which might be the case, but now with the rise of AI, a lot of people's jobs are in jeopardy, along with a vast amount of oversaturation in these niches.
You guys need to stop falling for the cybersecurity IT pipeline that thinks you're going to get a remote job at $70K entry level, no experience, and a security plus. You are being scammed. These TikTok bros, TikTok bros, they're lying to you. Maybe 2 years ago, their path was doable. It's not really doable. Now, you have a 2% chance of getting an entry-level cyber job or IT job. Keep in mind that cyber entry-level doesn't really exist in the first place. That's a misnomer. I got laid off in March, and I have 20 years of experience across IT and security. I have my Net Plus, A Plus, Sec Plus, AWS Solution Architect Associate. I've worked at NIH, NRO, private sector, public sector, remote, on-site, hybrid, 10 applications a day since March when I was laid off. And the rest of my USA team was laid off as well. Those jobs were actually reopened, and they were only open to applicants in India. We're oversaturated with entry-level people. Nobody wants a certification and no experience. Nobody wants that. You have like a 2% chance of being hired. Just a PSA.
I can't even get a help desk job with a comp science degree. The market is just cooked. So my cybersecurity degree is essentially an arts degree now. Sweet, I'm glad that I wasted my time. Another example that I'm starting to see more often is recruiters getting fired. So if your entire job is to headhunt or hire people for these corporations and you end up getting canned, that definitely means that it's not looking good out there.
So I'm a technical recruiter and I have lost my job 3 times over the last year and a half. I've essentially been unemployed for the better part of a year and a half now. And I'm getting to the point where I'm just really struggling to keep on applying to jobs and not hearing back from like 90% of them, and then making it through interviews just to like get rejected. And I keep thinking like, oh, I need to change my career path. I need to figure something else out. And I just don't know what to do because I want to make enough money to like comfortably live my life in San Diego, but I just don't know what the I want to do. What are people doing? How are people getting jobs in this job market?
So to add another layer to the situation, she lives in San Diego. Of course, the Orange County, the LA area is very expensive, and I've heard that a lot of people really like San Diego. It's very nice, but that comes at a cost. So to not be able to find a consistent job living in that area would be pretty tough. And keeping on the subject of California, we could talk about the Silicon Valley tech bros. A lot more of these types of ads have been popping up all over the country. Stop hiring humans. Hire Ava, the AI BDR. Won't come in hungover, never burnt out, works holidays. I guess Artisan is the company trying to do this. Every damn billboard in San Francisco is an AI ad, and it's so annoying. Now this clip did have audio over it, and one of the comments using an AI song for this is crazy work. The creator responds saying, I didn't know. That is a whole nother issue that AI has been taking over the music industry lately. I know that there was some headline that there was record deals by AI artists. Just a whole mess of a situation there, but that's another topic for a different video. We could just move on.
You're not going to be able to work for a big, huge corporation because they're not going to pay you. You're an expense that makes no sense to them. You're a liability that makes no sense. They can rely on the AI agent, and they already are in that mindset because we stopped everybody from having to go to the office. And they're like, oh, wow, we can actually work remotely now. And I don't have to have a 100,000 square foot office. We just saved a couple $1,000,000. They're already like thinking that way big time. So what are we all going to do with ourselves? I actually think that we are going to end up returning to the type of economy and world that we had a long time ago, where it's really small business focused and the majority of people are entrepreneurial all over again.
I don't know how much I agree with that. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be better overall, but how difficult would it be to have a grocery store competing with all the giants? Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, Kroger's, Publix, Harris Teeter. I could go on and on. And that's just a single example that popped up in my head immediately. People are trying to save as much money as humanly possible right now. So everybody starting their own small businesses would have higher overhead costs, higher wholesale prices. I personally think it would be very difficult to go back to. Again, I'm not saying that it would be bad overall. There'd be less monopolies like there is today with these massive companies. I truly just don't have an answer for what's to come in the future. Another comment here: after being laid off almost 3 years ago, it took me 7 to 8 months to find work and live off of savings. I now work 2 jobs. I'm so scared to work one. I have another one as a backup and rebuilding the savings I lost during the layoff. It was a scary time. Do not leave your job, because I still see clips like this pop up on my For You page. There will be a job in your early 20s. It's very important that you quit that job. I think this reply sums it up very nicely. I'm trying, but nobody else is hiring me. You get a lot of those videos with the influencer types or wannabe influencers saying that they're quitting their corporate job and they have no plan. They're gonna film everything and you get to see their experiences. You go over to the comments section, a whole bunch of other people are inspired to do the same thing, and in a vast majority of times that does not work out, especially in this climate.
The job market in 2025 has gotten so bad that I tried to sign up as a DoorDash driver yesterday and they said no. They said, sorry, we have too many people in your area. And I said, it's Los Angeles. It is a big area. And they said no. Too many. Okay, I guess I'll just go back to looking for Waymos to run me over.
So even the side hustle gigs are getting so oversaturated with people just trying to make some money. Oh man.
I applied for a job that I was overqualified for, and during the first interview, the recruiter said, "Hey, we actually have a senior level position that you would be a good fit for. Would you like to interview for that one instead?" And I said, "Sure, that will be great, but could I interview for both of them just to be safe?" And she said, "Sure, what we'll do is get you through the interview process for the senior position, and if for some reason that doesn't work out, we will revisit the original one that you applied for." So several weeks later and several rounds of interviews later, I did not get selected for the senior position, which is fine. But then when I followed up and asked to interview for the original position that I applied for, the one that I was overqualified for, they said, "Oh, sorry, we actually gave an offer to somebody else. We're not going to interview you for that role." That role that I originally applied for, y'all saw that I was overqualified for it, so you asked me to apply for the senior role and then said that I could still interview for the original one. And during this whole time, y'all just interviewed somebody else and gave them a job?
I don't even know what to say. There is no winning in these situations anymore. And this is not a one-off clip. I could have made an entire video with very similar situations over and over again. And to finish off this video, of course, I'm in the US and a majority of people who watch these videos are as well, but this does not mean that the job markets in many other areas around the country are getting pretty bad as well. So much so that I'm seeing videos like this of people moving away from Italy.
If you guys don't know this, Italy is a bit of a dying country because the educated and the people who are really wanting to work hard and make a life for themselves, they can't do it in Italy, so they are leaving. Wages in Italy are very low.
I also did business for a very long time in Italy. Did business now in the United States for a very long time. I can tell you that it doesn't compare. Also the bureaucracy. In Italy, it's almost like every single government entity is against you. They don't want you to succeed.
That's like how it seems.
It's how it seems for the entrepreneurs in Italy. Like you are basically a hero if you are an entrepreneur in Italy. Like it's very, 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 very hard.
Like they said, many people are moving away from the country to build a life somewhere else, even places like the US that has all the problems that we went over in this video. I've seen similar situations in Germany, the UK, Canada, so this is not just a United States problem. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.